Pop, 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 pass the popcorn, 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 pass the popcorn.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, where we're discovering good movies one bad movie at a time. And this is Pass the Popcorn, where we cover movie recommendations and always so much more. I'm your host, Carrie Jarasinski, and today I'm joined by, honestly, the best person in the world.
Back from the dead.
Gosh, I don't want you to reveal your voice. People were all questioning who it was. I was going to say best looking person I know, and I didn't say that. Right after Harrison Ford and Barack Obama. Like, right at number 3, the smart, the steamy, the elusive. What's your name?
Rob Jarasinski. Hey, everyone. Hey, Alternate Ending.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Film School Dropout's back. I'm dropping in.
You. You're dropping in.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you back on the show.
Thank you. I'm surprised you managed to maintain a laughter-free environment, unlike at the gym. I forget what we were doing. Something funny happened, and we just couldn't. We can't work out next to each other.
Oh, I know what it was.
We both work out at Orange Theory, and we typically go together. But we both sometimes there's like something that triggers laughter, and then we can't stop laughing. And I feel like you're almost there.
Do you want to know what it was?
What was it?
Okay, so it's really
inappropriate.
Wasn't a fart. No, it's really inappropriate though. So you brought it up, but now I feel like I have to answer the question.
I don't remember what it was.
Here's what happened. You were wearing those really tight pants.
Oh, and you could see the outline of things. Yeah.
And you were doing these Y raises, which basically like you lean back and then you have to like extend your arms up in the Y
I regret bringing this up now.
It just was clear as day. It was almost as though you weren't wearing pants. Mm-hmm. And so that made me laugh because I felt like everybody intimately knew you.
Hey, Lululemons aren't just for wait, are they just for women?
I actually don't know. But I think those were 15-year-old Adidas pants either way. But I think you need to upgrade to some larger pants. Those were really snug.
I like them nice and tight.
Yeah, nice and tight. If there was any question if this was a deep fake, I think people out there think this could be AI. Rob could be AI right now because people actually think that you're not alive. So what is one thing that you can tell me that nobody else would know so that I know it's really you and not just some sort of computer-generated Rob?
Like some sort of proof of life?
Yes. Is there anything that you could say that no one else would know about me?
That you are a really good sport when it comes to April Fool's jokes.
Oh boy, you're jumping right into it, aren't you?
Yes. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
As we record this, it is your birthday.
It is actually my birthday today, and gosh, has it ever felt like it?
Mm-hmm. You have the inauspicious joy of celebrating your day of birth following another big annual ritual, which is April Fool's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is one of those days in which, honestly, I feel as though I never know what to expect. I would say over the years, I've had water dumped on my head.
Mm-hmm. That was the fake. We tricked Alice into pretending that she did a poop in the toilet.
Yes.
For her first one.
Her first poopy.
Her first poopy in the toilet, like age 2.
I was so excited.
2.
Yeah.
And we all were dancing. Alice did a poopy, and you... I think we woke you up from
It's
slumber.
Usually what you do is you wake me from a sound sleep to be like, you've got to get up. Something very exciting's happened. And it's usually not exciting. It's usually either wet or smelly or dirty in almost all cases.
Yes.
So yes, I've had water dumped on my head. I did have peanut butter in my armpits one year from slathering it on my deodorant unknowingly, which was nice.
You thought you were being carjacked?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the carjacking. That one was a good
I snuck into Carrie's car at the gym. She didn't realize I was there. And I sat in the way back.
Yeah, that was scary. That was really scary. And what I realize now is I do have a very authentic, genuine scream. Like it's an actual fear scream that you're able to get out of me in almost all of these cases, which you also were able to do yesterday.
I was successful. I think I feel like the trouble with me and everything that I do is I always have to up the ante for the following subsequent time.
Yes.
So it's just new stakes. Stakes are raised. And I needed to perform. I never
see it coming though. I think that's part of it too, is I never see it coming. You're kind of really good at averting me. Like you put the focus on the kids, like, hey, what are we going to do to get the kids? So you had already sprinkled fake poop all over the house. And then you had already swapped the toilet paper for the fake toilet paper. So I'm thinking you and I are a team. I think that's the thing. I'm thinking we're a team. We're on the same page. It's you and I versus the kids.
Mm-hmm. High level of deception that I employ.
Yes. It's good. So
you want to share what, which one too?
Because you were tough. There's a couple.
You were hit with a few.
Hit with a few. I would say if there's one thing in this world that I'm more afraid of than the death of my children, it's snakes. It's snakes. And I've talked about this on the show before, that I've physically like thrown things away, like magazines that could have a snake in it. Like I throw things away that the potential of a snake. So it was just such a sweet, sweet moment. And I was like, oh gosh, my family's just really like encircling me with love, is what I was feeling in that moment.
Yeah, we just finished playing some Mario Kart,
I love
and you
Mario Kart.
had done very well.
I got a first place on one round.
Yeah.
I think on a singular round, that farm round, I got first place. So I was like, gosh, this is just my day. And then the kids are like, why don't we all just go take a family nap?
Oh, it sounded good on a cold, chilly spring
Wisconsin day. I was like, you guys want to take a nap with me? I want to take a nap. And I'm like, are you really going to nap? And everyone's like, we're really going to nap. I'm like, there's going to be no talking, no pinching, no smells. Everyone was all on board. I should have known then, because everyone was all in. And then
it was almost foiled because you were going to lay on top of the sheets, and then Alice started pulling off her side of the bed, and you're like, oh, this is like an under the covers type of nap.
I did say that. I was like, oh, it's under the covers. So whip the covers back, and there is a giant snake, realistic snake, laying on my pillow, which I've since burned. I've burned that pillow, and I did let out a sound that only can be heard by dogs, I think. And then the rage set in.
It was a good scream. That was a good one. And then you thought you were done.
I did think I was done
for the day.
But that sort of navigates on, because that's like funny. I think that prank is funny. But we did migrate in to my birthday the following day. Or no,
same day.
It was the same day. It was the same darn day. You're right, it was. We went to go celebrate my birthday because we're leaving for a trip today on my actual birthday. So we went to go celebrate at my parents' house. And you're such a thoughtful gift giver. Like 100% of the time, you were so thoughtful. So I was so excited about what you could possibly give me. And honestly, as I'm thinking about this story, I'm still mad. Like I actually am still mad at you.
Before I got to the good one, the finale.
Tell us how you led up to this.
I had to divert you again because I wanted you to think, okay, well, he has to be done now. Yeah. Because there was the snake in the bed. Yeah. Hilarious.
So funny.
So I got you a spider in the box. Perhaps people have seen those in social media. And you must not have seen.
No, I've never seen the spider in the box. Yeah.
So you slide open this kind of sliding door on a box, and as you're sliding, the spider jumps out and attaches to your finger.
Just to notate here, this was my gift.
Yes.
That was the only thing
No, they were, and then, haha, we're done.
Okay.
Like, that was funny.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the real gifts. And since you had already traveled to Florida with your friends for your birthday, this was not meant to be like a big celebration.
I still thought there was going to be a
gift.
We
got you scratchers, some scratchers, $40 worth.
That's a lot of money on scratchers.
Yeah. So 3 scratchers, 2 $10 ones, and a $20 one.
Yeah. How did you experience this moment? Yeah. Tell me more.
No. I want you to go through it.
I don't know if I that I properly can, because I do still feel a pretty intense level of rage. But
so you picked the $10 one.
I picked the $10 one. Was that the first one that I did? I did the first one. Mm-hmm. I won a couple bucks. I
won $10.
I won $10.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited. And then I moved on to the second scratcher, and I'm going, and I'm really into it. I'm like, and
the kids are all encircled. Your nephews.
The whole family is all like circled around me, and we're doing one by one, and we're like, no, like didn't win.
You had to get 3 matches in a row for this one.
Yeah. 3 matches in a row, and then you could reveal the amount that you've won. So I'm just like, oh gosh, like something about it just felt lucky. I just felt like I was going to be lucky. And so this continued on. I was doing it really slowly and methodically, backed our way in to scratch this one off. And it literally revealed.
Lo and behold, you had 3 matches.
I had 3 matches.
Or you had 3 in a row.
Yeah. So I was like, we'll save the number.
Save the prize.
So then I went back through, worked another one. I had another 3 in a row. save the prize. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got two wins essentially here. I'm going to walk away with money. So then wait till the last minute, scratch off one, $250,000. I mean, I freaked out. What was my facial reaction?
This is where the guilt began sinking in for me because you had such a very sweet, genuine reaction to it. Like no sense of malice that anything that this is fake, and you just seem so joyful. Mm-hmm. I realized in that moment that I had maybe made a mistake in purchasing a fake scratcher.
Not only that, then I scratched the next one.
Well, then you handed it off because I played into Carrie. Come on, this couldn't have won. We were all trying to you showed me, you showed your family, and everybody was like a little bit like in awe.
I don't know why everyone's not jumping up and down. Like my face is like I'm holding my face in my hands, clutching my face. I mean, I've won $250,000, and I couldn't believe it. Scratched the next one, $1 million. And I'm still all in. That's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a life changer. I've just won $1.25 million on my birthday.
And since nobody will ever experience this, probably that we know.
Yeah.
I want to know from your perspective, like what ran through your mind in those moments before you realized that it was just a big ruse.
I still am hoping it's real.
Yeah.
Because what I am realizing, I had a sort of a life epiphany. I'll probably create like a little meme about it. But I did have this moment where I realized this is true happiness that I've never felt before.
So money
does buy happiness is what ran through.
You seemed pretty happy.
I was so
But what went through? What goes through your mind?
Okay.
Like concerns,
my gosh,
joy. What's happening in your mind?
First, I mean, I only had probably so much ran through my mind. But when I think about it, there was probably only 45 seconds. So these are the things that in the 45 seconds following my windfall of money ran through my mind. First thing right out of the gate, taxes. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get hit with a lot of taxes on these. So I was like, I wonder if I should just take these in like a lump sum, or do I take it over time?
You're planning it out. Nice.
I was planning out like those financial implications.
Always take the lump sum.
But that's probably right. I knew also in that moment, I was like, okay, I'm going to divvy this up. I was like, who in my life could use $100K? I was like, okay, so my sister and brother, her brother-in-law, I was like, they're going to get $100. I'm just going to give them $100 of this. All the money that you're looking for your movies, I'm going to just give you some. Like I was just thinking about, I'd already spent the money in my mind about people that I wanted to give this money to.
So you're going to give your sister and brother-in-law less than 10%.
Well, with the taxes, I told you
before taxes. Right?
So that was the whole thing. I wasn't going to commit. I was like, well, I can't commit on the fly onto what I'm going to give them because I need to think about the tax implications first. So I was like, I got to figure out what it's going to be. I don't want to give them 100, and then it's like, oh, if I only walk away with 400 after taxes, then I've really given them a big cut. So, sorry, my mom's calling. She's probably thinking about this too, about her cut. So anyway, yeah, I'd already spent the money, and then that was what ran through my mind. And then the last thing in that 45 seconds that ran through my mind was, I'm never going to tell anybody that I won this money because I don't want them to think differently of
money
me.
Changes you.
Yeah.
Money not even you, the people around you, right? That's what you were afraid of.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want people to think, oh, she's going to pick up the tab because she's so wealthy. She has so much money. But I'll just pick up the tab
so
just
all
to
of
like
this,
slide it in.
All of this in the span of like 30 seconds before I think your sister was like on I think your sister was watching me. And I'm not a very good liar, but I was just trying to maintain composure.
And I wasn't looking at you at all.
You weren't looking at me.
No.
And then I told you it's part of the April Fool's joke. The other ones that you won, the $20 that you won on the other ones, that's all real.
Honestly, the spectrum
no tax
of
implications.
No tax.
We don't even have to tell Uncle Sam about those.
I'm not sharing a single dime of that $35 either. I honestly felt like pretty intense rage afterwards because I felt exposed. I think part of it was I felt exposed because I was genuinely like clutching my face and being like, oh, you guys are not going to believe this. I'm like flipping out. And so like to know I'm flipping out in front of all these people, it's my family. And then you're like, no, it's actually your birthday gift is actually just a piece of paper. I was like, God damn, Rob. I was so mad.
It's very convincing though, right? Very realistic. Very realistic scratcher.
Yeah,
it's amazing what you
was.
can find on the internet these days.
You're a real gift to me. Thank you for giving me snakes, spiders, and a fake lottery ticket for my big day. I really appreciate
Happy
that.
birthday, Care.
Thank you. I can't imagine being married to anybody else. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I look forward to your birthday coming up in May, where I'll be dropping your worst fear on your pillow as well. So
I'm not really sure what that adds up to, but it sounds terrifying.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
You'll find out. It's not going to be the fake kind when time comes. But in the meantime, when I haven't been being loved upon by my family and friends for my birthday, I have been watching some movies. And I think you have too. I've been watching a lot of TV, but I've also watched some movies. I have a couple things I wanted to talk about today in our worth mentioning segment, but mostly you and I have been doing some binging of Stranger Things with the kids.
That's right. Yeah, we what did we wrap up? I feel like we wrapped something up with them, a whole series, and then we moved on. Like we were looking for a new series. What were we watching before? Do you remember?
Oh, weren't you watching the National Treasure thing?
No, it was before that.
What was it? Oh, Wednesday.
Yes. Oh, Wednesday. Gosh,
yes.
That was a lot of fun with them.
Yes, they love it.
Slightly not safe. If you have kids and you're wondering like what the age parameters are, we have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. I mean, times have changed, but yeah, it was a little bit racy. The Wednesday was, but then you were a little reluctant because it's been a while since we've revisited Stranger Things, and I thought it can't be that much worse than Wednesday from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty intense.
Bad. Yeah.
It's not as much scary as there is just a lot of adult content, a lot of swearing,
so much,
and then a lot of like
swears,
teenage angst.
There's
kind
some
of
sexy stuff in there,
sexy
but it's
time.
like no, but it's like actual sexy things. Like they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think the two youngins, I think they did something.
Steve and Nancy.
Yeah. I think did they do it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Because you never actually see.
And there's some slut shaming, and there's
the word slut.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. You suggested this. I was against it. We started it because I didn't want to watch Titanic, and now we can't go back.
You had to choose between Titanic, Stranger Things, and The Ring.
Yeah.
And we started The Ring, and the girls immediately told me to turn it off afterwards.
Such a terrible parent.
And so when you came back, we started binging Stranger Things, and it's been a joy. We're now
they love it. That's the problem.
It's Abby's favorite TV show now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Alice's. Actually, I think Alice still likes Wednesday better. But
how much do you think Abby loves it because she knows that I'm horrified? What is there any percent?
No, I think it's good. It's great television because it always ends with the cliffhanger. It's nostalgia, but Abby didn't even grow up in the 80s, so doesn't even know what she's missing.
Yeah, she's never even seen a mullet.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. It's just Stranger Things has some magic power to it. It's also kids, like, and we can all relate to have been kids.
Yeah.
And friendships, and they're really well written characters too. I don't know. I really love Stranger Things. I can't get enough of it.
So we've been watching a lot of that, but also caught Jack Frost for our movie club.
Oh, that's right.
Bad movie night, which was real bad. So I'm not going to talk about that. But a movie I did see that I am super excited to talk about is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
Yeah, we actually caught that a few weeks in advance. I think it's in its second week at the box or in theaters now, but we caught it like about a month ago. We managed to get some early tickets to it. Yeah, just promotional tickets.
But it's still sitting with me, so I want to talk about that.
And then I saw a very early screening, and I think it's also kind of like in its second, maybe third week in theaters, and that's John Wick Chapter 4. I got to see that with listener and contributor of the show, Chris Trengove, when I was in Chicago. So that was fun because I know it's Chris's one of his favorite series of all time. We actually got it, the trilogy, for him for his birthday. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Which was a nice gift because I think it's probably one of my least favorite trilogies. Which is
you haven't even. What have you seen?
I saw 1 and 2.
You've never seen 1.
You're right. I didn't see 1, but I did see.
I think you've seen 3.
2.
No, I think you just jumped right into 3.
Did I? I saw I saw 3.
Yeah. So I have thoughts on 4.
Okay. And you're pretty all in on the series in general, though, too.
I do like it.
Yeah.
But I definitely have maybe some controversial thoughts. Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. Well, tell me about it.
Oh, okay. So
about you
John
go
Wick
first?
Chapter 4. directed again by Chad Stahelski, brings back Keanu Reeves as the title character, John Wick. He's been on the run from this clandestine organization of assassins. They're all after him. He's kind of in the first film, he was brought back into it because some transgressions that occurred to him and one of his pet. And he gets wrapped up. And I think in the first movie is when they discovered what they had, which is they had briefly touched on this kind of like underworld of shadows, living in the shadows, this assassin world where you pay in gold coins and you get access to this hotel and you get protection while you're there. And like you get suits made out of, like they realized like, oh, the audience really gravitated towards this crazy world that we're building. So let's just like lean into it. And the fourth installment leans the heaviest to me into it and is just a ton of fun. It's great action set pieces, great hand-to-hand combat. And again, it's not afraid to be funny and know that it's absurd. Like it is, there are moves that are just absurd and it knows it. And it created, like, at least with the audience that we watch, like several chuckles, including for myself. Like this is just insane. We also have Lawrence Fishburne, who comes back in the film. There's a lot of returning characters and stuff, but they just keep trying to amp up the martial arts, the fighting. But essentially it's just John Wick trying to clear his name so he can live a peaceful life. But he's wrapped up in this organization, this assassin organization that won't let him out. And is it going to be the end? Is it not? My take on the series in general is this is probably my second favorite of the bunch. And
wait, you're second of the four?
Of the four,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's
rank them for me. Is it one?
It is one first, and I'll say that, and I'm probably in the minority here, is that one was the most grounded and story-driven one, since it's less about that and it's just spectacle.
Okay.
And I think that that's probably what a lot of people love about it. And like I said, like they've created this whole universe of this assassin's world that was just like skimmed the surface in the first one. The first one was a much more grounded story and less kind of absurd, how is he surviving? I mean, that's certainly there too, but it was far more grounded. And I don't know, something about that just made me enjoy it more. But this one certainly follows closely behind. And it's, again, if you're willing to just have a good time with it, not take it too seriously, it doesn't take itself too seriously, then you can have a great time with it. Also, one of the guy who plays
looking at the wrong person.
Chapter Chapter 2. Skarsgård, thank you.
Gosh, I'm good.
Bill Skarsgård? Yeah.
Ian?
Bill Skarsgård's in here kind of as the main villain.
Okay. Is he going to
pulling
just
the
be
strings.
villains forever?
He's got the face.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. He's very handsome-ish. Like he's handsome adjacent. Like I think if you put him like in Hollywood Magazine, he's going to be handsome. But yeah, he just always pulls off the bad guy. It's
doing great box office. I think it's a Lionsgate film. And Lionsgate certainly needed the help. So I see it continuing. Like it would be nice. Not that I'm seeking prequels or something, but it would kind of be nice to get a younger version and see how he got into this. Cause this is him. Like you made fun of 3 before. Cause it's like, he's right. Like barely walking around. Does
that get worse in 4?
No, I think he might have been injured in 3. He looks a lot more fluid in this
more
one.
Limber.
Yeah.
He's been doing maybe some calisthenics.
Oh, there's this whole scene.
Stretches at home.
Where all he's trying to do is make it up this really big staircase.
Yeah.
And he just keeps coming back down to the bottom and keeps getting his ass handed to him.
Maybe they
really
gave
fun.
him some different shoes. Because when I also think back to 3, it felt like he was in some uncomfortable shoes the whole time. So maybe they got him some orthopedics in this one, and he's now just running around in those, making him a little bit more nimble.
I don't know where the story goes after this one. So again, like I could possibly see them wanting to do a prequel, but why mess with a good thing? It's still bringing a ton of box office. So I don't know what the next story would be. I didn't stick around to see if there was some sort of extra credit scene or something like that, but everything kind of seemed to have some closure to it at the end of at the end of 4. But with the money that it made, it wouldn't surprise me to find out they've already got 5
in the bag
ready to go. But I'll go. I'll continue to have fun with it if they can keep finding ways to shock and surprise me. It's kind of like I don't want to say it's the anti-Tom Cruise type thing, because there's practical effects in here too, for sure. But it's far more. It's not as practical as Tom, like the Mission Impossible films. Like watching Tom Cruise do that, like it's kind of in that similar camp. It's just like different stylistically entirely.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna not watch that.
I don't think you care for
No.
action spectacles.
No.
It's just there aren't very many films that do that anymore, especially more practically.
You know what does though? The movie I saw.
Dungeons and Dragons. It does
Yes.
practical action.
Yeah. Yeah. I
don't
think so.
know if that's accurate.
I think it's 100%.
This is from the
accurate.
filmmakers of one of our favorite movies that we love to still say to recommend to people, which is Game Night.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
it's the-
know.
it's the
I know.
Writers and directors of Game Night.
And it has the energy. I'm going to throw this out there. It has the energy and humor that's infused into Game Night that just from beginning to end, I was just totally sucked in. And I'll back up to say, so this is called Dungeons and Dragons. So I went into this.
Which was fitting for when
skeptical.
we were watching Stranger Things too, because
Yes.
it tied it back for the kids too.
It
Like,
did.
yeah.
But did you play Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Oh, see, you strike me as a Dungeons and Dragons player.
Never had the patience to
I thought we
commit.
have all those cards that you
No,
bought.
that's Magic the Gathering.
Oh, Magic. I thought
Yeah.
it was the same. I thought you like play Magic on the side while you're like you play a Dungeons and Dragons card.
No.
No,
That's not how it
different
works at all.
games.
No,
No.
the campaigns of Dungeons and Dragons can last days. So it's like that just didn't sound appealing to me. And it's a little tense because it's creative storytelling. You're writing stories as the game unfolds. It's a little bit like what we did at New Year's when we played a little Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, that's right.
Except not a one shot. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at me.
You're really good, Rob. You're really good. I mean, for me, I don't know if this is going to shock you. I also have not played Dungeons and Dragons. So
Crazy.
I know.
To be fair, I don't know, and perhaps people who have can tell me. I don't know what if there were references.
You're missing them.
No idea.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
But it didn't matter, and you didn't need it. And that's where I went into this thinking, I'm totally going to take a nap. I felt like a little headachy going into it. So I was like, you know what? I'll probably just snooze off a little bit while I'm in here. And the thing starts, and I'm all in right from the start.
This is another type of film that has just been missing for me from just things that I would watch. Like there are serious fantasies now, like we have Ring of Power, we have Game of Thrones, but this one's just fun.
Yeah.
Family fantasy fun.
Family fantasy fun. That's exactly what it is. To me, it was a little bit like Robin Hood, the one with Kevin Costner. Some vibes from that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
I
don't know if I'd
maybe a little Knight's Tale.
Let's not scare people.
Oh gosh.
Oh, okay. Knight's Tale is actually a very good comp for it because they're speaking slightly in modern day language, like in which they do in Knight's Tale. So it kind of breaks a little bit of the continuity, but it works. And Chris Pine is just
could he just be
so charming?
Any more charming? Yeah.
So
the
charming.
whole time you were laughing at all of his jokes. It's got a little bit of Lord of the Rings in there too. There's some vibes, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. So there's a charming thief that's played by Chris Pine. And he comes together with a gal friend of his, and then he's basically embarking on this quest to retrieve this lost relic. But along the way, there's been some sadness in his life. Something happens early on. It's hard. And he's also trying to sort of go and find his long lost daughter is a part of this movie, is another plot point. And so as he's trying to get this relic and get his daughter back and all of these things all at the same time, he runs into maybe some of the wrong people. But this is Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant in this for me.
Hugh Grant as a villain is
just stellar.
Top marks.
Top marks.
He's been doing a lot of the villain twists, starting with
weird.
Paddington 2, I think is when
it's
we
so unexpected.
had that, and then he was not a villain, but he was in that Guy Ritchie film, which was a lot of fun as well, where he kind of played a little off type, and it's just when he does villain, it's a lot of fun. He has a lot of fun with it.
But he's a what do you call it when you kind of like him? It's like a like
Yeah,
a playful villain or
Sure,
something
sure.
like that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a quality to him that you can't like hate him. It's not like you're mad at him, but you still don't want him to win. Sophia Lillis is in this. And then I'm not actually going to tell you guys, there's a cameo in here, but when I was looking up on the IMDb to see like about him, he's not listed.
Oh,
so I
interesting.
think maybe it is a secret. So I don't want
Okay.
to spoil it, but there's a super big actor who makes a cameo in a super small way. And it is shocking and hilarious and all the things on one. The movie in itself, I cracked up almost the entire time. Laugh out loud moments.
They're good writers. They're good
Yeah,
writers. I
clever.
think every moment they're just thinking like, well, what could we do
To
that
make
would
Carrie
just-
laugh.
Yeah,
That's what they're
That's
saying.
what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On their paper. That's in the side notes. It's like, what would Carrie Jarasinski say? And they got it. They nailed it.
So if you're a fan of fantasy, if you're a fan of films like Game Night, that type of humor,
Yeah.
like slightly like self-deprecating sarcasm, a lot of sarcastic humor. It's good. It's good stuff in there. And Chris Pine rolls with the punches. Not
Yes.
afraid to let his handsomeness be made fun of, and not physically, but just like
you don't think he's handsome?
No, I'm saying sorry. Despite being handsome, he's
Oh.
not afraid to like let the jokes come. It's all on him. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's not afraid to be a buffoon.
Takes it.
He's a
Yes.
buffoon.
Yes.
Slightly.
I
Yeah.
agree. We'll also add, I still cried at least 2 to 3 times also. There's a couple of moments
yeah.
where I was like,
There's some
am I
heart.
crying in Dungeons and Dragons?
Do you have the runtime too? I don't feel like it was too bad.
It was like 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Okay, so that's maybe too long.
But that's the thing.
It did feel a little bit
You
on the
thought
longer
so?
side.
I could have taken more.
Could have cut like a couple minutes out.
I could have not. I could have actually taken a few more minutes.
It's
but
also
it was so
doing
good.
decent at the box office. Is it going to start a franchise? It's not doing quite that well to greenlight it automatically, but I would not mind seeing more of this universe, spending more time with Chris Pine, and I can't remember who the writers are. I think it's the two dudes from Freaks and Geeks, and he's been an actor in a bunch of stuff too. Like he was on Bones
Okay.
as well too. But I wouldn't mind seeing more from these writers and directors as well too, because I just love everything that they do. They've got me.
All right. Well, that sounds good. I was considering heading to a break, but I might not because I don't have to go to the restroom.
I'm good too.
I still have a full cup of tea. So I think I'm going to probably just push through.
Push on through.
And you don't even really know what this episode is about.
No idea.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's your birthday,
It's not my birthday.
I wanted to bring you on just to talk a little bit about what you've been up to, because I want to let you know that after maybe 10 to 11 months of, moderate resentment for all the time and effort that you've been putting into all of these projects that you're a part of, it's all gone.
What's all gone?
My resentment.
Oh, the resentment's gone as of this moment.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Is this an April Fool's joke?
Yes. I actually am still very upset.
Well, why? Well, let me turn the tables really quick.
Okay.
Why is the resentment gone? Have you walked a mile in my? Because you've been. I will say, like you've been more involved in some of these things, so you kind of get to see what the process is like. Like number one, you came in December and you were an extra in Hauntology, which is one of the projects that the first project that I started working on, and then you helped brainstorm a brainstorm session for another project that that's being written currently in script form.
I added a sprinkle or two.
Yeah, no, you were like MVP there.
Oh, sure.
And then you came back again for another writing brainstorm session for another project. We're going to be getting our first draft of the screenplay back from soon. And so I think you've gotten to see a little bit more behind the scenes. But why now? What's happening?
No, I just think I realize if I do some self-reflection, I think, I'm going to be honest, I'm doing a therapy moment on myself right now. I think the main reason that in the beginning it was really hard for me was just because I was probably lonely. I think you had a whole cool thing that you were doing, and I was probably feeling on the outside of it. And so I probably took that out and was like, well, I'm not going to ask about these things then. And I'm going to just sort of like cold shoulder it.
Little pouty.
I think I was pouting. And you were also spending a ridiculous amount of time, which you still are.
Especially early on with Hauntology, while I was still trying to figure out like what the hell a producer does. And, it comes with a lot of responsibility in that a lot of people have entrusted me a large amount of money.
Right.
And I don't want to disappoint them. Right. So thankfully I work with a really great team specifically to Parker is extremely well organized and vision driven for Hauntology. So Parker's been willing to step up to the plate and carry that burden along with me. And, we've made a really great duo in that. And then coupled with our awesome investing group and crew, who's just awesome. We've really found like another family there. And you got to experience that in December when you came out.
Yeah. And I think even more so than that, even more so than getting involved, I just think it's really, really cool what you're doing. And I see like, it's not just an idea, it's an idea that's actually taken shape. Like some things you can people can talk about doing things and they can have ideas, but it's so hard to bring ideas to life. It's so hard to actually make something tangible. And even the people that you're meeting along the way, so many people have a script or so many people have an idea or a concept. But what I think is really cool about what you guys are doing is that you guys are actually taking those concepts and you're creating some. So today, in honor of you, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the projects.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I will gladly take a little bit of time. I can't disclose everything about all things, but I can
though.
Yeah.
I've actually never, like I said, I was going to sign that NDA.
You never signed the NDA, huh?
No. I said I was going to, but what I did was send it back to you unsigned.
Oh, clever.
And then I was like, now I'm going to come on this episode and tell everything.
Sure.
That's my plan.
Well, folks know about Hauntology. If you haven't, you can follow along with hauntologymovie.com. We do regular recurring updates there. We just finished segment 3 back in December. For those who don't remember, it's a horror anthology film that focuses on a young child who's going through a little bit of a identity crisis. Not sure kind of where they fit in the world, and they decide to run away from home. And the older sister intervenes and takes them on a bit of a road trip through town, talking a little bit about their legacy and how maybe the younger sibling is not quite as different from others as they may think. And there's some hauntings and things that go along, all culminating with a big finale, which we'll be filming in June. So the through line and the final segment finale all happens in June, and that's been going really well. That's the one where I had to learn the most. Trial by fire and drinking from the firehouse, a lot of fire related metaphors.
Mm-hmm. That time you lit yourself on fire.
Lit myself on fire for the scene. No, I didn't do that. But I feel like I'm really happy that we did this in chunks, because it's essentially been like 3 short films. So, maybe I was really green for the first one, but by the second one, when I needed to help out with doing cast payroll and stuff, like I had already made mistakes for the first round. Sure. So I learned from them, and every single segment has been a learning opportunity, but the quality of the segments has continued to improve, and each one has been my favorite until I get to the next one, and then that one becomes my favorite. And so clearly we're doing something well enough where it's improving each time, even though the one before was very good as well too.
Are you allowed to say the gal that's in the last segment?
No.
Oh, come on.
No, can't say it.
Oh, can I say what it rhymes with?
No. It's going to be cool, it's going to be cool. Yeah, it's we've been lucky enough
I'm going to say this.
No, I'm
just going to say one.
Okay. No, I don't trust you.
I know.
Yeah. No, we've been lucky enough to get a ton of just horror icons in the film, from Samantha Robinson, Naomi Grossman, Zoe Luna, and then we just have a wonderful ensemble cast, and our stars too. Jaden Triplett, who will be out in June. She's currently on iCarly, which the girls are watching, as well as Samantha Russell, they're gonna be playing the 2 sisters, and super talented, along with everybody. And I can't list everybody because we were way too ambitious, having 24 cast members essentially for our first feature. If you're ever making a movie for the first time, don't do multiple locations. Don't shoot over the course of an entire year.
Yeah, the scope for the budget that you were on was really, really large.
Yeah, it's an epic. Like it really is it's a queer horror anthology epic.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of it. I'm really excited for how it's coming together. Parker is certainly extremely talented as a director, and again, the crew has really just been stepping it up and allowing us to put together really amazing projects. And we just finished getting the coloring, the first 3 segments, and editing back. So we're pretty much locked with those 3 segments. And I think they look great.
Gosh, and in that last segment, I don't know who it was, but there was this woman.
Just a striking green dress.
Gosh, yeah. She was just really, really stood out to me. So if you could try to tap her for future
you were part of 20 to 30 extras that we had. That was another ambitious thing that we did in an art gallery scene. And you got to see the magic of filmmaking. It's boring.
It's actually very boring.
Yeah.
And honestly, I regretted my footwear, and I was borrowing somebody else's underwear that day. I don't know if I told you that. And it wasn't the right size. So I started to get really uncomfortable because I had forgotten. I've never worn like, not a corset, but I've never worn like,
you could say Spanx.
I've never worn Spanx in my life, but I was like, you know what? I think I need some Spanx. And I forgot my Spanx. So I borrowed some. And like I said, they weren't working 100%. They weren't holding in all the right places. So I was a little uncomfortable. If I was to do it again, if I get tapped again, I would buy my own underwear and come. But I did see all that. I think to abbreviate the experience, everything that you've gone through up until now, it finishes, it colors, you get it edited. Then what goes from there? Like, I think that's the scary part then. Like, for people that could even come out with a short or a product, once you're done, how do you know what to do with it? Like, once you get the end product.
Well, we've been, thankfully, distributors have already started reaching out, but
how do they find you?
They do their own research on IMDb, looking for films in production or close to being wrapped and who's listed there, and, you know, what's the star meter of the project and who do you have involved. And, you know, they're making their own assessments on paper, but at the end of the day, they're going to need to see it. So yeah, we've been approached by a few distributors, you know, wanting to, you know, talk to us a little bit, but we're going to wait till we're done and we go on the festival circuit. And that is really where the film gets the opportunity to hopefully shine and find distribution that way. And maybe, you know, we'll see where it ends up. We certainly would love to have a theatrical run, at least a short one in key markets, and then move to video on demand,
The old Vogue.
pay on paid video on demand, and then move to some sort of streaming service after that. But
like, could you get on Redbox maybe?
Sure.
I think that would be great.
That would be nice.
Gosh, I've seen a lot of good ones.
One
on
can
there.
only dream
Exactly.
to be on the Redbox.
On the Redbox. I'd love to see you at the grocery store.
But
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's one.
But this is what it feels like is, and again, I'm going to just do a mini horn toot here because it's been a long time for you. So I'm going to toot your horn. What it feels like happened where your life continued to explode, because in some of our exchanges about time spent and this process and everything you were involved in, it was kind of like, well, this, and if it doesn't work out, you know, we can kind of go back to status quo. And then it's definitely not gone back to status quo, because what it feels like is, because you're such a unique person that is able to somehow magically make things happen and move forward and create and all of that and bring things together, it feels as though you open the gates for a lot of other people tapping you for more work and more projects. Yeah,
it's been interesting because I would say that I'm the least talented person of the group from everything that we do. I guess the secret thing that I bring to the table is, like you said, moving things forward and understanding the process enough to see potential, to give people hope and inspire them and give them the energy they need. Because if there's someone sends me something that I get really excited for, I guess the ability that I have is to get other people excited about it too, because I can see how it's going to end up, and like I can start pulling the pieces together and driving it forward. And a lot of people just sit around with their scripts in their drawers and it's just not going anywhere. I wish I could write a script.
Yeah.
That's not my gift though.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I wish I could be more like you. But yeah, when people share their ideas with me, and like I'm usually into like most concepts. Like I think every concept is worthy of, you know, an opportunity to be made. Then it just comes down to like, how efficiently can we make it, and is there a potential for a return? Yeah. Like in most things, the answer is like, depending on how you crunch things, like, yeah, you can make something work, and not all things can work. Like, you know, multiple locations, huge casts, like that's not going to work. But you bring me ideas that are small, intimate, like small single locations with, you know, we can get that off the ground and build some interest around it. So that's kind of what happened with the other project that we just had a investor overview for last week on Sunday, which was The Fort, which we hope it's going to be a pilot for we hope to be a TV series. I can say now that it's written by Alan Lastufka, who is an award-winning writer, and we optioned the story from Alan a while back and have just been kind of developing it and figuring out where we're going to shoot. And then lo and behold, in the last couple of weeks, we got in touch with the the manager for Callie Haverda and Jordan Elsas. Callie is the lead on That 90s Show. And then Jordan Elsas recently wrapped doing some work on Superman and Lois as Superman's son.
Superman has a son?
Yeah.
He can have kids?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Absolutely. It
How
checks
does
out.
he do that?
Just the old-fashioned way, I guess.
I don't think so. I don't think that suit comes off. Well, I guess it does.
No, it does come when he's Clark.
Yeah, but I thought that suit was just always under the suit.
Mm.
You think he actually takes it off to like shower? Like, when do you ever see Superman shower?
I mean, you got to see a lot of Superman in the Man of Steel.
Oh, okay.
A lot
There's
of topless.
nudes?
A lot
Okay.
of topless.
But you never saw the bottoms come off.
I haven't been paying attention.
Okay,
But
okay.
we're really excited to have like a really strong cast already associated with just what we hope to get picked up. So yeah, we can't say that they're rumored to be attached, as we're kind of in final discussions with them as well too. So that's going to be a big one. And that film's in August. So as soon as we wrap Hauntology, we're going to be going right into filming that one. And then been working with Samantha Robinson on another project with writer-director that shares the same management company.
She was in the last segment of Hauntology.
Yep,
But
and
she
just-
was
yep.
also in Once
Better-
Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think.
Yeah, she played an heiress in that. You might remember her from a scene right before the Manson family comes. She's playing piano, and then she's mostly known for being the Love Witch. Just really an incredible film, horror film. And then what else we got going on? Yeah, then my goal with all of these projects is to kind of level up each one, and then be less reliant on funding from myself and from friends and family, and start dipping into more of the traditional financing route of financiers. And then I've neglected to say the thing that is coming sooner than all of these things. We are investors in Naomi Grossman's project, who played Pepper on American Horror Story. And she's got a one-woman comedy show coming to
I'm
Los
so
Angeles.
excited about that one.
Yeah, and then following that up in New York, and we're going to be out there for the premiere of that.
I know.
Yeah.
I do feel a little bit weird going out there. I don't know. I don't know what to wear. Like, are sweatpants too underdressed?
I think so.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel as though that's my vibe, and I don't want to let go of my vibe.
Be your authentic self, for
right.
sure.
So I think
Just
I might
be like
just
a better
kinda...
version of your authentic self.
Oh, okay. What does that even
I'm
mean?
just joking.
I don't even have I only have one version. So I might wear sweatpants. I don't know, but I might get those sweatpants that look like dress pants and then wear those maybe. I don't know. I'm still kind of playing around with it. But I do think it's funny now knowing her so much better after hanging out with her a few times, because I think she and I are kindred spirits of the anti-digital age. She and I were both trying to navigate Sundance together via I have my notebook that I keep in my purse that I take all my notes on where I need to go. And simultaneously, she also pulled out a piece of printer paper.
Her Sundance schedule that she had
Sundance schedule.
handwritten with circles and arrows
It's
pointing
like
to
a
different
disaster. And I was like, I get this. I get this. So it'll be funny to see her on stage trying to do that too. So she's hilarious and funny and fun, and
yeah, so
all
much
the energy.
different than the character that she plays. And a lot of people don't know that she got her start, in the Groundlings and as a comedian. Really,
Yeah.
She's a comic. She's hilarious. She's
She's a little vulgar.
bundle of energy.
Oh yeah, that's what I
Yes.
was gonna say. Yeah.
Also,
that. But she's so sweet, so nice. So I'm excited about that too. And you said something earlier that I wanted to think about just for a minute too. So you and I have talked a lot about this too. So even for people who are listening to this, because I feel like as a part of Alternate Ending, we just have so many creative people. There's musicians, there's writers, there's readers, there all the things. There's people who are making films, there's people who are critics, it's the whole thing. People who write blogs, people who do all of this stuff. Like, what is sort of like the first step? What is the tip? Like, what do you say? Because I think people do have those scripts sitting around in drawers and whatever. Like, what do you do if you're really solid at that one sort of creative element? Like, how do you actually feel like you get started?
Yeah, and I can't say that I'm a success at it because we haven't seen everything, come to its full completion yet. But I will say what seems to be working is if you have an idea, people's attention spans are very short, and you need to find a way to convey that quickly and efficiently. And what we've been very good at is taking concepts and turning them into project overviews or, you know, slides or something visual. In one case, we're working on a sizzle reel or a proof of concept or a fake commercial that will help people, because you only get like a few minutes maybe. You have to hook people right away. And yeah, a script, if it's well written, like, but people, how many people are going to open that up, and then how many people are actually going to read it?
Right.
And so you almost need to stop asking for things to come to you and just go out and make those things happen. You got a great script in your hand. Start trying to make some deal, like try to go get someone attached to it.
But who's the someone? Like, who would you connect with? I mean, the people are connecting to you, but you're like a producer hat person, but you wear lots of hats. Like, is it that you find a producer? Like, who do you think you go to?
I would actually caution folks, like, again, no knock on other producers. I'm sure there's ones out there. Like, I've tried to, like, traditionally with a producer, what'll happen is you'll get your work optioned. So if you're just looking for a payday and you're okay with a producer taking your work and then saying, here's a check, you know, for $1,000. If the movie gets made, I'll give you, you know, 10,000 or 50,000 or whatever, if it actually ends up getting made, but you're good from here out. Like, I was more interested in having it be more collaborative. So I never have taken like full ownership of the project. Like, we share ownership and we allow the creative to continue being the creative, and I take care of all of the business stuff. And that's really worked out for me. So like, how rare is that? I don't know. It seems like it's not very common.
Yeah. No one likes to do that paperwork.
No.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for me to believe in someone else than it is for me to believe in myself. So like, I really enjoy being kind of the right-hand person of trying to please the creative and trying to move things along and keep them motivated. So that's been working really well.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're a creative person, like, try to find someone who has that, the missing piece of, you know, and share in that. Like, but yeah, like, it doesn't, like, you can get people attached, you can get your own tax credit, like, you can find crew members, like, you can go make the thing, like, figure out, try to just reach out and try to find people. Don't rely on others to make your thing for you. Like, you can go out there and try to pull it together. You know,
it's as easy as that.
Well, it's not easy. Like, at the end of the day, all of these things, the bottom line is it takes money,
time, money, and it's hard.
It's money is really kind of what it comes down to for most of these things. So we're hoping that with the 3, 4, 5 projects that we have, we can demonstrate that we can make projects of quality efficiently, and that it's worth for movie studios or financiers or distribution companies to invest in to allow us to continue making them. So, and then it's more self-propelling then.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on as a guest.
Gosh, you're just a real charmer. So really glad to have you here. Next week, I don't know if you'll be on that one, Rob, but next week we have a traumatizing, literally, episode. Next, we'll be covering our top 5, thanks to Patreon Harold Bleacher, movies that traumatized us. Holy God, I don't even really know what to do. If you had to pick, don't pick the one that you're going to pick. What's the hardest you've ever seen me cry in a movie? Can you think of any?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Which one?
Oh, I thought you said I shouldn't say.
Well, you can just say it.
Dear Zachary.
Oh yeah, I did cry in that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that one destroyed me. So did I was just blanking on the drug movie.
Oh yes,
Darren Aronofsky drug movie.
Yep, the drug movie.
Gosh, I always forget
the
that
baby, and there's a baby.
There's a baby.
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Is there a baby?
No,
Gosh.
I think that's Train Spotting.
I've only wanted to see that once, and that was it.
Both of them traumatizing. So excited about that. Thanks again for joining us. We are off to Vegas today, so more to come next week with that episode. But in closing, thank you guys so much for joining us. You can head out to social media, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and follow us there at alternateending.com. You can always find all of our reviews, podcasts, and more. And like I said, next week we'll be back with our top 5 movies that traumatized us. Catch you then.